Money is often treated like a math problem. Save more, spend less, invest better. And on the surface, that sounds reasonable. But the psychology of money argues that financial success is not only about knowledge, it is also about behavior. That is what makes this book so useful, because many people assume that money is mainly a test of intelligence. Morgan Housel suggests something more uncomfortable, that the way we handle money is often shaped by emotion, experience, fear, ego, and luck. And once you understand that, you start looking at wealth very differently. Morgan Housel is a financial writer known for explaining complex ideas in a simple and human way. Instead of focusing on formulas or predictions, he looks at how people actually behave around money. That perspective matters, because financial decisions are rarely made in perfect conditions. They are made by human beings, and human beings are not perfectly rational. The core idea of this book is simple. Doing well with money has less to do with how smart you are and more to do with how you behave when things become uncertain, tempting, or emotional. That is why two people with the same knowledge can end up in completely different financial situations. One reacts impulsively, the other stays steady. One wants to look rich, the other wants to become wealthy, and that difference compounds over time. Unlike many finance books, the psychology of money is not mainly about how to beat the market. It is about how to avoid sabotaging yourself. Most financial advice focuses on optimization, higher returns, better strategies, more efficient decisions. Housel focuses on something deeper: patience, restraint, humility. Because in money, avoiding stupid behavior is often more powerful than chasing brilliant outcomes. One of the most important distinctions in the book is the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Rich is what people see. Wealth is what people do not see. A high income, a new car, status symbols. These things create the appearance of success. But wealth is quieter. It is the money you keep, the margin you protect, the freedom you build. And that difference matters because many people spend their financial energy trying to look successful instead of becoming secure. Another powerful idea in the book is that luck and risk play a bigger role in financial outcomes than most people like to admit. We often look at successful people and assume their choices explain everything. But outcomes are rarely that simple. Some people benefit from timing, context, and opportunity. Others make reasonable decisions and still face bad outcomes. This does not mean decisions do not matter. It means humility matters too. Because once you understand the role of luck and risk, you become less arrogant in success and less judgmental in failure. That alone can improve the way you think about money. The book also emphasizes the value of enough. This may be one of its most overlooked ideas. In finance, the desire for more can become endless. More income, more returns, more status, more growth. But if more has no limit, then satisfaction becomes impossible. Housel shows that knowing when something is enough is not weakness, it is protection. Because many financial mistakes happen when people already have enough, but keep taking bigger risks they do not need. and that usually ends badly. Another practical lesson is that flexibility matters more than precision. People often want a perfect financial plan, but life is unpredictable. Careers change, priorities change, markets change. So instead of building a system that only works under perfect assumptions, build one that leaves room for uncertainty, a margin of safety, savings, time, lower expectations. These things may not look exciting, but they make resilience possible. One of the most useful ideas in the book is the difference between being rational and being reasonable. In theory, a perfectly rational person would always make the mathematically optimal decision. But real life does not happen in theory. People make decisions in the middle of uncertainty, stress, fear, and limited information. That is why reasonable often matters more than rational. A financial plan only works if you can actually stick to it. And most people do not fail because they chose the wrong spreadsheet. They fail because their strategy did not fit their emotions. Another powerful idea is that saving is not only about buying something later. It is about creating control over your time. Money gives you options. It gives you space. It gives you the ability to wait, to adapt, and to make decisions with less pressure. That is one of the quietest but most important forms of wealth. Because the highest dividend money pays is often not status. It is independence. And that changes the way you think about earning, spending, and keeping it. What makes this book especially valuable is that it reframes money as a long-term behavior problem, not a short-term intelligence test. That changes how you judge success. It also changes how you judge yourself. Because good financial decisions do not always look impressive in the moment. Often, they look quiet, patient, even boring. But over long periods of time, boring decisions can become extraordinary results. And in money, staying consistent is often more important than being exciting. If you apply one idea from this book, let it be this. Good financial decisions are not always the most impressive ones. Often, they are the ones that let you stay in the game. Spend less than you earn. Avoid unnecessary ego decisions. Give compounding time to work. And protect your ability to be patient. That may sound simple, but simple is not the same as easy. One of the strengths of the psychology of money is that it makes finance feel human. It explains money in a way that feels realistic, not theoretical. Limitation. Because the book is built around principles and reflections, some readers may want more concrete technical guidance, but that is also part of its value. It teaches the foundation beneath the tactics. In the end, money is not only about numbers, it is about behavior under uncertainty. And the people who do best over time are often not the most brilliant. They are the most consistent. If you found this useful, consider subscribing for more structured summaries. And if you'd like to read the full book, the link is in the description.